Absolutely. Father, we come to you on this gorgeous day, God, to thank you for your creation, and thank you, Lord, that you are a sovereign God and that you have everything under your control, Lord. I just ask right now that you be with this meeting, Lord. Give us wisdom that's beyond our capability, Lord, that comes from you. And I just ask that you give us wisdom and strength, and Lord, at the same time, we give you thanks that you put us in a place where we can have these meetings and government that's ordained by you. But right now, I just ask that you be with us and bless us. Bless each family that's represented here, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
And you, Liz.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'll call the meeting to order, and Father, would you do the roll call?
Commissioner Feller,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Foster, Commissioner Toller,
Here.
Commissioner Hartline.
Here, ma'am.
The reason for this special meeting is to listen to proposals for IT services for Union County. The format that we have set up is 30 minutes for the presentation, and then 15 minutes for the commissioners to ask questions if they have any. So the first one up is GFI Digital, and you have 30 minutes to make your presentation.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for the opportunity to discuss what we feel is an excellent opportunity to partner together. So GFI Digital, we are a company focused on providing technology solutions with expected revenues of about $100 million in 2018, 400 employees across Kansas, Missouri, and Illinois. Specifically regarding the services that you're requesting, this is certainly the fastest growing portion of our business. We support approximately 200 customers for managed IT services across Kansas, Missouri, and Illinois. 10 offices. I've got 35 individuals that are dedicated to managed IT services. With that, I would like to kind of specifically address some of the things that you requested as part of your proposal and tell you a little bit about where we think we might be unique in our offering. There was really only one thing requested on your request for proposal that we don't do inherently as a part of our business, and that is web hosting and design. Obviously, we have a number of customers that need websites hosted and design work done from time to time. We have a number of partners that we work with that are available to provide those services. I would further expand upon that by saying we don't host customers' technology in any way, shape, or form. So there are a number of things that go into that, especially as it relates to government entities, various audits that are required. When we partner with organizations to perform IT services, and organizations have needs to have technology hosted, we work with partners to host that technology for them. So with that, I feel very confident in all of the other requirements that were laid out in the request for proposal that we would be able to handle those services. Our pricing methodology is very simple and straightforward. It's really not priced based on the services that we're performing. It's based on the devices that we're managing. So according to the proposal, across all the county entities, you have 79 workstations and 5 servers. So with that, when you look at the last page of our proposal, we give you a per unit price for each of those devices. There's a per unit price for server, and and there's a per unit price for workstation. Now, what I will say is, when I say that we don't price based on our services, there are different levels of services that we perform for servers and workstations, but what you've requested in your proposal request is what we would consider comprehensive, so I've priced accordingly. There are services that would lower these dollar amounts, but based again on the requirements of the proposal request, I feel that our comprehensive services would best meet your needs. We do not require term contracts, which was part of our proposal and letter of transmittal, which means that as we engage, in typical business operations with our customers, it is on a 30-day basis, meaning our services can be canceled within 30 days at any time. We do have customers that have required term contracts, and we would be willing to discuss that with the county if that is so desired, but as a course of standard business operation, we do not do term contracts. So when you look at our pricing model, here is what changes our monthly services to the county. If you were to change the number of desktops that we support or the number of servers. So what's important in that, and as you consider our proposal, there are a number of initiatives that you laid out in your requirements document that you would like to embark upon. So generally speaking, we'll call those projects. Those projects are going to require, engineers with specific expertise to understand your current environment and to propose technology and implement technology to get you from current state to desired state. Those project services would all be included in the fixed monthly fee that we provided to you as a part of our proposal. So there are no hourly rates for on-site services, there are no hourly rates for project services. It is truly a flat fee unless the county changes the number of devices that we're managing. So hopefully that simplifies things in terms of how you evaluate our proposal from a financial perspective. There always seems to be a lot of questions around this, and during the Q&A phase, I'll be happy to discuss more. But it really is a no gotchas. If we need to be here with our team for indefinite period of time, any travel and living, any on-site, project-related or otherwise for day-to-day support is included in this fixed monthly fee. We do serve other government entities, both county and city, so we have a lot of experience in serving county organizations, so I think that would lend itself well to being a good partner for you. I think that one of the other things that we do, probably a little different from some of our competitors, is we really have a tierless system in terms of our engineering staff. So nothing is outsourced. Every time an individual contacts our help desk, they're speaking with an employee of GFI Digital. While engineers certainly have different strengths and expertise, they all are responsible for doing day-to-day help desk tickets. They are all responsible for completing projects for the customers that we serve. And the reason for that is, customer service is a really big part of this. When we serve organizations, we want them to think of our team as an extension of their team. You don't want to get, into a situation where, hey, you really need to talk to Jim, but, Jim's out for the day and this will have to wait till tomorrow. So we spend a lot of time investing in training in our staff to make sure that they're prepared to help all of our customers in an immediate fashion. We have network operating centers in Kansas City, St. Louis, Jefferson City, and Champaign, Illinois. So when we dispatch engineers for any reason, they are typically coming from one of those locations. Having said that, that only covers about half of our geographic offices. So when we have, work being performed in a nearby community and we need to be at a customer, somebody may office out of Cape as an example, where we don't have a network operating center, if that makes sense. All of our employees are given access to company vehicles. We feel that that's important just because, again, we want to make sure that we have immediate access to our customers. They can arrive on time professionally and not have to deal with some of the nuances of traveling, in some cases, great distances. Because while we serve these 3 states, a lot of our organizations that we serve have offices far outside of Kansas, Missouri, and Illinois. So sometimes that requires air travel and distant car travel. Access to the help desk would be granted to every county employee. It is done via 3 ways. There will be a phone number, an email address, and all devices that we manage on your behalf will have a lightweight piece of software that will be installed that would give each employee immediate access to the service desk. The way it works, there's a little pictorial in the proposal, but it's very simple. You click on the icon, screen pops up, you type in the issue that you're having, and then we create the ticket on your behalf with our service desk. That is probably the most common way that employees of all of the organizations that we serve access the help desk. But sometimes you're on the road, you need to make a phone call, or maybe you want to send an email from your mobile phone, and all of those are great and acceptable ways. After hours, so we staff our NOC from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. After hours, it's very important that if there is support required, that you dial the phone number. That's going to hit an ACDQ, which is going to dispatch to the on-call engineering team to provide support from that perspective. So, and again, after-hour support, weekend, holidays, it's all covered as a part of this fixed fee proposal. The one thing that I will address, from my knowledge, it sounds like there was a long-term employee of the county that served the IT needs of the county for a long period of time. One of the things that I feel is most important in engaging in a relationship like this is making sure that all the stakeholders of each of the county departments are willing to come to the table and talk about their technology needs and how they might be better served, whatever that may mean. And then, we create a blueprint of what that looks like, help you from a capital budgeting perspective to understand what it's going to take, again, to get from the current state to the desired state. Oftentimes, business people don't really understand what options are even available. And, it's our duty to sit with you and understand what it is that you're trying to establish as an outcome of a project, and we'll help you with the technology components of that. Just kind of to summarize, when I reviewed your requirements for looking for a partner for this, I would describe our comprehensive services as a complete day-to-day IT operations as a service. So all of the things that will be important to you, obviously service desk capability, but helping you create technology standards, IT strategic planning, day-to-day management of your servers and your networks, making sure that your employees are happy and productive in the work that they do for the county. Security, obviously, is a big piece of this. We would be deploying a managed security solution to all of the devices that we manage on your behalf as part of what we do. In the letter of transmittal, I highlighted several key bullet points that I feel would be key for you to review as you evaluate these proposals. But this is an always-on, 24/7 service that we deliver. So even though we may not be physically staffing our network operating center, the technology is looking at your environment around the clock. It's not uncommon that a staff member is up at 3 a.m. because alerts are going off, systems are down, critical services need to be restored, and that's just part of the day in the life of a managed IT provider. So I have listed, as you requested, the 3 references, and would be happy to provide additional references as part of that. The other thing that I really wanted to stress to you is, as a part of our technology business, managed IT is one of them. The other is what we call advanced technology solutions. So we serve a lot of organizations that don't need the always-on approach. They have their own internal IT staff, but they still need expertise when they're designing new systems, and maybe they need assistance implementing those systems. So as an example, Acme Corporation decides that they're going to migrate their mail server from an on-premise solution to a cloud-based solution. Nobody in the organization has done that. They would hire us for point-in-time expertise to help them get, again, from where they are to where they're going. As a part of that, obviously, design and implementation services would be part of our bill of materials, but oftentimes there are significant technology investments that corporations are making, and we have partnerships with some of the leading OEMs in the technology space, and I've listed those in my proposal. What I think is beneficial for you is understanding that as a part of those relationships, you benefit, if you so choose, to procure your technologies from GFI Digital. We do not require organizations that enter into managed IT to buy their hardware from us, but as a turnkey and a value add, we will help you with the procurement if you so choose to. I think it's valuable for you to know that we will operate your environment in an as-is state. We won't force you to adopt technologies. It will always be your decision. We're going to guide you with our expertise based on what we feel is best for the county, and then you ultimately will make the decision as to whether or not you want to move forward in that way. And even if you choose to move forward, you'll always have the opportunity to procure from GFI or from another company of your choosing. When I do presentations like this, I often talk about what I think are the 3 most important things to delivering quality of service for managed IT. There's a page that addresses this in the proposal, but people, process, and technology are the 3 components that I feel are the most paramount to making this a successful partnership together. The people part, fairly straightforward. You need talented individuals that understand a lot of different technologies. If you look across the numerous customers that we serve, there certainly are a lot of common technologies that we manage, and there are a lot of organizations that operate technologies that are very unique to their business. So as we begin relationships with organizations, we're often in a position of having to become the experts in a very quick manner so that we can understand how we're going to serve that particular client. So the people part and getting the right people that are not only very technically proficient, but what I would just consider good customer service oriented individuals. At the end of the day, this is a service that you're subscribing to no matter who you choose to partner with. So, having people with that customer service driven attitude is an extremely important thing, and that's how we staff our business, is with really bright people that have a customer service attitude. The process part of this goes to standards. I won't go into great detail, but there are a number of different process standards in information technology that help organizations that do what we do it in an extremely proficient manner. Things like, employing people that understand ITIL standards, that have PMP certifications for project management. As you embark upon some of these technology transformations that you've laid out in your requirements document, I think it's going to be very important for you to consider organizations that have that process inherent in their business, so that things are completed not only timely, but on budget. And, you know, from a technology perspective, it's kind of twofold. It's the technology that we've invested in and how we serve our organization from a service desk perspective, from all the tools that we deploy to all the devices that we manage. But it's also about the multitude of technology partnerships that we possess and can help you with as you begin some of the transformations that you've laid out in your requirements document. Those are the really key elements that I wanted to discuss with you this morning. So with that, I guess I'll end my presentation and open it up to any questions that you may have.
Actually, you answered a lot of the questions that I had in your presentation. The big concern that I had by doing what we're doing here, as opposed to having someone on site all the time, was that's what the office holders and the employees here at the courthouse, they've been used to, that if something goes wrong, they have somebody here on site that can come and walk them through it, or take care of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to now, and this is something that we'll just have to be acclimated to, is that if there's a problem, now we call in the help desk, and then they're going to walk through it instead of having somebody, it's different when somebody's either right there over their shoulder or saying, okay, here, let me do this.
It is. And it's going to be an interesting dynamic that you're going to have to get accustomed to. I think that there are pros and cons. Cons are that culturally, you're used to having that individual here.
Mm-hmm.
And so the employees and everyone that served, is going to have to learn to accept a new methodology of how technology is supported in your environment. But I think there's a lot of pros. I think that it's a very difficult job for any one individual to serve an entity your size for all the things that need to happen on a day-to-day basis. My guess is the individual that's been working with you probably runs around putting out fires every day. And it's probably hard for that individual to look out and do a quarter, 2 quarter ahead and say, this is where we need to be, this is the plan of how we're going to get there and how I'm going to execute. So they've probably been in a very reactive state for a long period of time. When you hire a managed service provider that can serve your needs with a much larger team, you make sure that all the reactive things that are being done day to day, but you also get to bring the strategic element of technology and how it might serve you better. So I do understand that.
And I appreciate what you said, that hopefully the reactive things will not happen near as often.
That's right.
And that's where, that's, I guess, where we're gonna have to put our faith in what we do here, whoever we decide, that those reactive things, because I can tell you that's the concern of most of the employees and the office holders, is I won't have that person here now, right now when I need one.
We serve a lot of professional services firms, specifically legal firms, and attorneys are very particular about how they get IT help, meaning I want it now, and anything less than now is not acceptable. I do think, again, you all should realize that this is very much going to be a cultural shift should you decide to partner with a managed service provider. In some cases, and we would be happy to discuss this with the county, we will set up an arrangement where we'll come on site for a given period at a certain date, and everyone will know. That sort of puts people's mind at ease that, oh, well, we're going to see someone, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it is that we agree upon. But one thing I will tell you to be careful about as you consider adopting that is this. I find that the numbers point to when your employees know that, Jane Doe is going to show up on Wednesday from 8 to noon, everybody saves their problems for Wednesday at 8 to noon. The problems could have been solved a week prior if they would have just accessed the service desk and used the utility for what it's meant to do. But you revert back to what you know, and what you know is, I've had this one individual that comes and fixes my problem, and that's what I like. So, there is flexibility in how we set that up, and I'd be happy to discuss that, should you feel that, you know, this conversation warrants, further discussion.
That's my main concern too, and, but especially from, you brought up attorneys from our state's attorney's office,
Yeah.
emergency services, sheriff, 911. I've got a company laptop, and I know it can be done, I mean, and again, it will be everybody getting used to doing that. But when I have a problem, my biggest problem is getting somebody to answer me on the other end. And I guess that's the part, I know you're assuring us that that's immediate.
It is.
But that's what it would have to be. I mean, once they get on there with me, they fix the problem.
Sure.
And that's gonna take an adjustment for some people here, not everybody, but that's, again, the same concern.
I, again, understand and respect the concern. I think when you think about us and how we might, you know, be able to at least reduce those fears, we have a staff of 35 individuals dedicated to this managed IT business. So every interaction that we have with every organization that we serve is all time and date stamped in our service desk. Our average response time, once a ticket is submitted, and I don't mean resolution, all problems are not created equal. You could have dropped your laptop in a bucket of water,
Right.
or you may just have a connectivity issue as an example, right? But our response time for acknowledging your request and beginning to troubleshoot and fix the issue is 6.5 minutes. And when we start to go beyond that, then we know that it's time to add staff. You know, obviously this is a business, we're in this business to make a profit. We look at this very, very closely. The one thing I will say is that when organizations that you're evaluating are looking to take on an organization of your size, if they're not considering adding staff, you need to be concerned about that. There's a lot that goes on in county government. So we'll be, you know, carefully considering what our staffing level looks like and making additional staff probably within 30 days of getting a signed contract. And that's just,
So I can write down in 6.5 minutes you're gonna be
You-
online.
you absolutely can. You bet.
That's good to know.
I want to go back to the project services, because I've done this a lot, and it always continues to be difficult for people to understand. When I say that there are no additional fees, the only way that this changes is if you change the counts. The county will always be responsible for procuring hardware and software that it needs to run the county business. But as it relates to all of the services to support that, to help you make transformations from a technology perspective, that falls upon us, and it's included in that number. So weekends, evenings, holidays, weeks, whatever it comes down to, you know, what we're trying to do is make IT not a sawtooth, right? So if you looked at what you've spent from a technology support perspective over the course of 12 months, you know, March may look like this, and April may come down here, and May back up. We want to just make it flat. And we realize that, you know, over a 3-month period, we may, you know, invest a lot in terms of time into your business. But if we do that, we're going to help move you in the direction that is going to be much easier for us to support. And then, you know, the trailing 3 months, you know, our costs are going to go down. And over the period of 12 months, it's always worked out very well for us to conduct business this way.
So are you saying if we need a server, we pay the server, and that's it?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
So, I mean, it would automatically, the way I'm understanding you, if say we added 5 workstations 3 months from now, the next month's bill would reflect
It's
that.
a great question. It actually wouldn't be the next month's bill. So when you, and I didn't go bullet point by bullet point because a half an hour just isn't enough.
Right.
But as a part of quarterly business reviews, we're going to review your contract. What's behind a quarterly business review is this. Let's take a quick snapshot of the previous 90 days. How did we serve you? Are you happy? Here are the things that we think are really important that you should know. But it's really as much forward-looking as it is looking back. So in those quarterly reviews, we would come to you and say, we started with 79 workstations and 5 servers. You've since added 5. At the end of that quarter, we do a true up. Workstations in general fluctuate so much, I'd have to have 20 people in billing just to keep up with that. It just doesn't make sense. I will say this, it goes both ways. If you decrease, we'll decrease.
So you were talking about the response times and everything and, you know, getting used to the new situation where you have to get the help desk ticket and everything. What if we need somebody here, something fast? Where's somebody locally?
So we have field IT 20 minutes from here. So, yeah, they can dispatch from Cape Girardeau.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have another question if you guys don't.
And I will,
No, and that's a big question right there.
the other thing I will say is, all of our staff use location services technology. So we know where our engineers are at all times. If I happen to be serving a client 10 miles from here, I'm not going to dispatch somebody from anywhere else other than that individual unless he or she is engaged, you know, in something long-term. But, you know, we're using technology, you know, I think in a very smart way to help serve our clients.
You talked about web hosting and that being the one thing that your company doesn't do, but you partner with other
We do.
people to do. Is that included in this price, or you just help us find somebody that then we pay them to do the web hosting?
Yeah, I did look at your webpage. There doesn't seem to be anything really complex there. I would say that the hosting component of it would be included. If you need design changes, that would be additional.
Okay. And if we need something posted to the website, how quickly could it be posted? That's my concern, because we have agendas, we have deadlines they have to post.
No, I understand, yeah, just as a part of everyday business. I don't have a good answer for you, but I will tell you that I'm just thinking across different customers we serve that we do partner for web hosting. Give me an example of what you would think would be a stringent requirement, as in, I need this posted within an hour, 2 hours?
Oh, I need this posted by tomorrow.
Oh, that, no issue there.
But you would do that.
We would, so it brings up a really good topic to discuss. Again, it's included in the proposal, but this would fall under IT vendor management. So you have a number of vendors that you work with, an internet service provider, probably a telephony provider. Maybe they're one and the same, maybe they're not. All of the application vendors that you work with for various, you know, government services. We will become your liaison between all of those organizations. So when you need something, you contact us. We will develop partnerships with the key contacts of those companies, which would require you granting us permission to do so, and then we'll work with them to achieve what it is that the county needs. So oftentimes, there are, you know, administrative people or IT staff. You know, if there's a site that's down, you know, they spend 2 to 3, 4 hours just managing, you know, the internet service provider or whatever the case may be. You let us know, we'll manage that for you, and we'll keep the key stakeholders obviously abreast of what the status is of the particular request.
Right now, we are videoing our meetings, something we do just started.
Okay,
The previous person would put them on there, we still do as a YouTube video
okay.
after the fact. What about going live with that?
So live streaming, yeah, there's definitely some considerations. Can you share with me what your,
Like, can you initiate that, do that?
we could
Help us
certainly,
with it?
we could certainly tell you, absolutely, yeah. Yeah. So it brings up a great example. You obviously have something that might be beneficial to the county. Instead of recording, perhaps live streaming. So what we would do is come and sit down with you and understand, this is what we want to do, why we want to do it, tell us how we get there, right? And so then we come back to you with a deliverable to say, this is what we think would be the best, kind of good, better, and best, and let you kind of choose from there. And that's typically how we do things. I realize that, the best may not always be financially possible, but we want to educate you on, risks and advantages, sort of, this is, what we would consider the least acceptable way to solve this. Here's something in the middle, and here's the Ferrari, if you will.
I have a question on 2 items on the
Sure.
program, if you don't mind. The electronic delivery of monthly reports.
Yes.
And the mobile device hosted exchange management. Can you speak to those two
You bet.
specifics?
There are a number of reports that would be available to any of you from a portal, a web-based portal. If you want to see ticket reporting, meaning who opened tickets, when were tickets closed? Is there an anomaly in the individuals that are opening tickets? Meaning, do we have somebody that seems to open 10 tickets every day and, they're way up here and everybody's down here? You can open tickets based on device health, meaning, well, how many workstations have we had fail in the last 30 days, 60 days? There's more reporting than, quite frankly, you probably would ever want. What we do as a part of an onboarding process is